Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am going to start the historic. Are you also?
Yeah, I'm just turning it.
I'm going to start the Historic District Commission at 7:01 on Tuesday, March 18th. And I'm going to seat Tim Fuller as a full member and John Goodrich as a full member. So we have 5 full members. And the digital recording's on. Public hearing, all right. I'm going to waive the hearing procedures, but if you want to read them, they're on a sheet over there. And now I'm going to have the public notice read by our secretary.
The Historic District Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, March 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Groton Town Hall Annex, 134 Groton Long Point Road, and virtually via Zoom platform to hear the following application is requesting a certificate of appropriateness. First one is HDC 250015, 3G Pearl Street, Aldo. I'll throw that Carvella, applicant Yusuf Isa, owner signage 2619183170086. Second one is HDC 250016, 75 Steamboat Wharf, Rosemary Robinson, applicant owner storage tank PIN 2691840742050. Third one is HDC 250017, 2 Ashby Street, Lori Finnan, applicant owner driveway PIN 2618063911308. A Zoom meeting link will be posted to the town's website meeting calendar. Applications are on file and available for public inspection during the normal business hours at the planning department, 134 Groton Long Point Road, Groton, Connecticut. Dated this 11th day of March 2025 at Groton CT. Mark Ernst.
Thank you, Mark. All right, so we'll go right to our public hearings. We obviously have a full house tonight. Welcome, everybody. So we'll go to HDC 25-009 to Eldridge Street, which is Carolyn and John Crowley owners.
That has been withdrawn.
As it says clearly on the agenda. All right, withdrawn. So we'll jump right to number 2. It says, no, it's right after.
Right. Okay.
It's my bad. It's been a long day. HDC 25-0015, 3G Pearl Street, Aldo Carvajal, or Yusuf Isa. Oh, Aldo's on the attendee.
This one?
Yep.
I gotta promote the panelist.
Yes, hello.
Yep.
Good evening. We can hear you.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, I'm listening.
All right, talk to him, Bill.
So Aldo, this is your opportunity to share with us what you are presenting about your signage.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm just this is the first time that I'm in a hearing. So what I'm doing in the 3 Pearl Street is changing the sign, existing sign, just putting a new vinyl with a new logo and both sides of the sign. And I submit the plans and the measurements of the sign that is 3 feet but 20 inch.
So although it's the same size as the existing sign, you're just rewrapping it? Is it my understanding that correct?
Yes, it's the same size and the same metal, the same sheet. I'm just putting a new vinyl and the two signs and the two sides of the sign.
All right, so it basically, although it's a like for like, you're just obviously changing the brand and the logo.
Yes,
The old one?
yes, that's correct.
The white one's the old one.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank you.
Is now the time to ask, are the neons still up and do we have any say over that, the lighted signs?
What's that?
Are the lighted signs still up in the window and do we have any say over that?
That's not part of this application. That's. It shouldn't be talked about or considered
Okay.
under this application.
All right, does anybody on the,
Yeah, was this, I have a question.
Yeah.
Was this sign up for a little while and then taken back down? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so I've
If you
seen it.
recall, there was a prior application,
Mhm.
and there was a disconnect on as far as presentation. So it was denied without prejudice.
Right.
I called the building owner contacted the business owner, and they promptly took the sign down, knowing that it had never been approved.
okay. All right. Does anybody, do you guys have any questions about the sign?
No.
All right, although there's no questions from the committee, thank you for your presentation. We just, since you said this is your first time, what we do is we listen to all the presentations, then go back and vote after all the presentations have been given. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. All right. So gonna close HDC 25-0015 is closed. Now we'll move on to HDC 25-0016, which is Rosemary Robinson, applicant, owner, Steamboat Wharf. Hello, how are you?
It's a pretty simple application to put an above ground storage tank, replacing our abandoned oil tanks that we had underground. We had a problem with them. Can't use them anymore. Not putting anything else underground anymore. So we found a nice little niche right in the corner to put our above ground storage tank. All I got. It's a steel tank. It's 3,000 gallons steel tank with a concrete vault around it, so it's completely safe. And yeah, there's the boiler room, there's no room for the tank that's close by, so.
Do you have a site map?
I have this
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
and where the red square is,
Yep.
that's where the vault's gonna go.
Where is Mariner?
They're way over here.
And then this side of the alley, Bill.
So this is the alley to the left of the four cars. Okay. Yeah, I was just thrown off by the perspectives. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this
pretty
is,
hard to find.
this right here is the main block.
Yeah.
This is Steamboat Inn. This is our little courtyard.
Yeah.
Couldn't see that.
So it's, there was a shed there,
Okay.
so it's gonna go where the shed was.
Yeah, no, I just Mariner was here last week and I
Yeah,
just,
over here.
yes, no, it's-
These are actually there.
okay. I'm good now. Any questions from the committee?
No, it's pretty tucked away.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing the best possible solution to this junky situation.
It's a big tank.
Well, it heats, it supplies oil for both Steamboat Inn and the main block.
Okay.
It's actually replacing 2 underground tanks.
And Rosemary, correct me if I'm wrong, that the vault's gonna hide most of it anyhow, isn't it? The way the vault's put up or no? It's
Yeah.
Concrete.
And it'll look a lot better than our temporary tank.
That's the other one we see in the picture here.
Which is the yellow.
The yellow
Yeah. that's-
submarine-like one. And that diagram, on the diagram, there's a black and white striped. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
the-
where our handicap parking is,
Okay. Okay,
or was.
okay,
Will be again.
I'm really hoping.
all right.
Yep.
All right,
Question.
excellent. HDC 25-0016 is closed. Thank you, Rosemary.
Thank you. Does anybody want to speak for and against?
Oh, shoot, I forgot to say that.
Okay.
All right, back it up.
All right.
The audience on it.
I will, okay. I'd like to take a pause from HDC 25-0016 and go back to HDC 25-0015. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak for the sign presentation that was earlier? Is there anyone on the audience that would like to speak against the sign presentation that was earlier? Okay, now that one is officially closed, HDC 25-001. Now, jumping to Rosemary's presentation on the placement of the tank. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak for the presentation or application, excuse me? Does anyone like to speak against the application? Okay, now HDC 25-0016 is closed. All right, now we'll go to HDC 25-0017 to Ashby Street, Laura Finan. Thank you.
Hi, Lauren. How you doing?
So I'm Laura Finan and I'm here, we'd like to do a driveway at 2 Ashby Street. And just to clarify, there's a driveway and there's a fence. But we've decided, after walking the terrain, that we would prefer to put in some arborvitae instead.
Of the
So-
cedar fence instead of cedar fence?
Instead of the cedar fence,
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, and we're just gonna go straight down, but I don't think I have to have approval for that. So, so take the fence off the lot. The arborvitae are gonna look great. And there was a lot of rocks and stumps and so anyway, so, now moving on to the driveway. I brought my show and tell again. And I also had the architect, draw up something for us to explain it a little bit better. I don't know what you want to see first, but
Just, I'm sorry. I'm just curious if she got the fence, she doesn't have to build the fence. Right?
Oh, she has 5 years, right?
But it appears that she's withdrawing the fence portion of the application.
All right.
I think it's just, after thinking about it and researching the last couple of days, we've been looking at this for about a week now,
All right.
that it would be, I think it would be just a better,
Okay. No,
softer approach to doing.
You can always come back and ask for the fence.
Well, I think that's what Ted was getting
That's what-
at,
that's what Ted was
if
getting
you,
at, right.
if you again change
Or
your
should I
mind,
just do it now and I have everything here and then get
that's
it
up, that's
approved,
entirely,
and then
that's up to you.
if we decide, because I might want to do a fence down below.
Whatever you want to proceed. I'm not trying to mess with your.
Yeah,
Um,
all right, well, let's do that then, since
Yeah,
it's already
be-
on the docket.
Because
Okay.
if we, let's go, say we say yes
Yeah.
to the fence and you don't do it, there's
Yeah.
no one's gonna come and yell at you for not putting up
Yeah.
a fence.
And I think that's what I was getting, I added it anyway, was just to get it approved, not, not knowing when it would be built or,
Right.
okay, so let's.
I would
Yeah.
just, I
Well-
would just recommend that you specify exactly how you are
Yeah.
amending the application. So your application states that you were gonna run a fence all the way from the, I believe, north end of the garage down and around the corner, and now you just mentioned that you might only put a small section in down below. So you want their approval to be specific to whatever you are intending to do.
So it would be specific for what we outlined, what I outlined at the pre-app meeting. Right, which was
Okay.
down
Yeah.
the side perpendicular to the street, not along the street. And then down the back and then perpendicular again.
And I guess I'm just not sure how, I really need to do more research and work with the fence company. If
So-
we even
Yeah.
went that way, so if we get
Sounds
it,
like
approved, at least it's there.
So
Right.
tonight, you'd have to be specific on what you want. And if you
Okay.
want to
Yeah.
remove the fence and just come back,
Come back.
If you don't know what
Materials for that?
The fence, I mean, I have the
Well-
pictures and
Just, yeah, ask for the 6-foot pencil on that.
along the back, the side, okay.
all right.
we're probably just
You might-
gonna
you can always-
highlight.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna
Just
give you a
like
piece of
the-
paper and have you.
Okay,
You may
put-
change your mind later, because I have some questions about the fence. That complicates how it's gonna, because it's so hilly. I'm curious about how the fence is gonna work in terms of its construction. It's gonna go up and down the hill and all that kind of stuff.
It's gonna look weird as I look
Um,
at it again. That's why I went the other
Yeah.
way.
So,
So almost sounds like we better just withdraw it, you know.
so
Would
I think the
rather
fence is gonna,
Again, yeah.
The
I
fence may
think
be.
the fence
okay.
Right, I like-
is gonna be interesting.
Exactly. It's just, like, we haven't seen you in like 2 weeks.
I'm sorry.
My car's on autopilot for 2 Ashby.
Let's
So,
just withdraw it.
let's,
We'll come back again, because I really.
I think
wanna
that's
do it.
probably the
It's-
best
it's
case
hilly
scenario, then you
and-
can really specify, once you
Yeah.
have. The plantings put in and where you really want to put the fence, you can have absolute
Yeah.
specificity
Yeah.
of what you're asking. for.
Sounds good,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, so
sounds good,
I'm gonna remove the fence from this application.
perfect.
Thank you.
Sorry to complicate things.
No, this is good.
Want it down the road,
And
saying it's different.
And I like the non-fence.
Yeah, it's also a lot less expensive.
It's less maintenance.
Yeah, less savings, yeah, so,
All right,
so on to
Okay.
the.
onto the driveway.
So, here we go. This is the drawing that the architect drew up. And you can see it now, it's outlined a little better. I did bring a GIS copy too. But on Ashby Street, so there's an existing walkway to the house, to the deck of the house, and to the carriage house. And what we're proposing, or what we'd like to do, is do a 4-foot apron along the front. There would be a retaining wall in the back between the two, which we just finished all of the brick veneer, but it would go from the existing retaining wall, which is shown here. And I'm sorry if my fingers are in the way, but the existing retaining wall is here. No.
Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes, okay, yeah, so we would put one here, and then we do need some stairs down the back, so we'll put just a small one next to that. And then fill it in with, finishing it off with pea stone.
And the apron's gonna be the brick.
The apron's gonna be the brick, and then the retaining wall will match the other retaining walls and the foundation of the garage, in the stone. And then I do have the materials list, which
So I'm the stickler for the materials list. And I'm not seeing that in this online application. Or this
Lori,
paper,
can you give him that
paper
copy to enter?
application.
this here,
Yeah.
yeah, and then there's,
Can you sign it? Do away with that?
oh yeah,
I
absolutely,
mean, is this your materials list, these 4 lines?
and then the back.
Okay. Okay.
So you can see the fill, the brick paper apron, stone veneer, and the block wall core fill.
And your apron's gonna be just rows of brick.
Rows of brick, 4 feet.
4 feet,
4-foot
gotcha.
apron
Okay.
of brick to
All right.
match the rest.
All
You
right.
want this?
No,
Okay.
I was looking more from a UBS or thing, but this is,
Okay.
Right.
I have the survey of the property, which I don't know if that's helpful to you or not. Oh, there we go.
I do want the one your finger was pointing at.
Survey.
No, the other one. No,
Materials list?
no, the one on the very bottom. That
Oh,
one,
the
yeah.
architectural?
That's
Yeah.
the new
You
one.
got it.
Yeah, that's the
That's
one.
the new one.
This is, thank you.
Do you want me to upload that or?
No, I have it. This is fine if we have it paper.
Okay.
So I just put this in this. Thank you.
Okay. And then here's the GIS. This gives another little, and then some pictures of what we were thinking. So, basically you'll fit 2 cars, maybe 3 tight, across, and then, it'll be pretty standard for the driveways on the street. And that's another look at that side. And you can see the brick walkway there, and then along the street, it would have that. There's another. Just gonna make it really pretty. Maybe too many pictures.
No,
Is such thing.
That
Yes,
goes
it's-
right along the fronts.
Yeah.
And it will just tie them all together. And clean it up a lot, so. And then I have that one, which is pretty much the same, and I have another GIS, but that's not written on.
that's good.
Great.
Any questions from the committee?
Nope.
All right.
Okay,
Oh, we're good.
thank you.
Thank you. Any, anyone in the audience like to speak for the presentation, application? Oh. Does anyone in the audience want to speak against the application?
I guess that would be.
Should I stay or go?
Oh, yeah.
You can,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can.
Good evening, gentlemen. No ladies on the committee, huh? So my name is Tim Marchand. I live at 5 Ashby, directly across the street. If you ever need a ride to 2 Ashby, I'm happy to give you one.
Okay.
I saw Lori's presentation from the prior meeting, and I was a little concerned about it. I didn't think it was as cut and dry. I thought it was a little deceptive about the area that she's speaking about for the parking. Ashby, I'm sure you've all been on Ashby Street. It's a very tight street. Sometimes I have to do a K-turn to get out of my driveway, and I want to show you my house. This is my house here. Sorry.
That's all right.
And then, so this is the, let's see, where am I? This is the barn in the main house.
Could you slide that over a little more so I can see it? I was having a hard time. I'm sorry.
I'm a horrible public speaker, so I'm all shaky.
You're doing fine.
You're doing great.
So I just wanted to show
So
you,
could
some-
you show me your house again? I'm sorry.
my house is
Red
directly
dot.
across the street.
156.
No, not the red dot.
No, the one before the red dot. So I have a hard time when I come up my driveway sometimes getting out of here, and I have this parking area over here they both were put in before I bought the house. I agree actually with Lori that she does need some off-street parking somewhere. I'm just concerned that this is the most congested part of the street. The most narrow. It's only about 17 feet between my curb and her curb. So to have cars parked there, and I'll tell you what, in the last 3 years, it's been a ton of contractors there. Here's a picture of, actually, I think it is Lori's car. Parked in front of the garage, where she is saying that there's 2 spaces to park there. Rarely is there ever one, she parks over the driveway, all the contractors, it's a mess. Trying not to complain too much as a neighbor, but I didn't want her to think this was a slam dunk where none of us really cared.
Can I add something here?
Hold on. Or, Mr.
No,
Chairman.
no,
Yeah.
just wait till his presentation. We'll,
Actually, this is a good one. This is from down the street. You can see
You can
How-
slide it down just a little so you can get there you go.
This one.
Yeah.
You can just see how narrow the street is. I've actually seen garbage trucks not be able to get through there.
Oh, yeah.
We've had fire engines come through the last couple of years. We have some elderly people in the neighborhood. And I've seen them struggle getting around the cars there, and they're not all Lori's fault. I mean, there's another house, number 3 Ashby. They also have cars that park on the street at times too.
Just for perspective, where's Lori, where's yours in this picture?
So Lori's on the side of the street with all the cars,
Okay,
and mine is on the side of the street. There is no parking on our side of the street.
Is your driveway where the garbage can is? But I'm
I
saying,
have two. That is one that I share with my neighbor. Through the deed, she has right to use it, and then I have a 2-car parking spot. Over here. Let's see, where am I? Right there. I just feel like if it's just getting so congested, and I don't feel like there's really enough parking for 2 people in front of this garage. And when I heard her say, oh, just a little retaining wall, that's a pretty big retaining wall. I mean, I'm no mason, but that seems like a pretty big engineering feat to me to put up a wall that's gonna hold 2 more cars.
is that visible from the street, the retaining wall? Because it's down below.
You can see it from
Down-
215.
It would be
From-
visible
From
from.
two, not from Ashby.
Right.
But from 215. Yep, okay.
Well, I think you bring up some good points, but I'm curious how the cars would park in her location. Are they pulling in or are they parallel parking?
They're parallel parking, but you can see even.
I see that that's how it's done now.
Is that upside down? too?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see even when a normal car is parked there, it straddles into the street, because if they were to fully pull off the side off the street, then their passenger door would be up against the barn and they wouldn't be able to open it, you know? And the other-
Mr. Marchand,
Yes.
I don't understand how if they pave it, it's gonna change the parking. I mean, the cars will still be in the way,
But we're gonna
whether,
have people, now we have 2 people backing out.
if 2 people park there, which they could do today, if I understand the situation, right?
Well,
Like, I understand it's a busy street, and I'm trying to understand your complaint in relative to if they surface that area, there'll still be cars there. I mean, I don't understand how it's gonna alleviate
No,
the
I'm
congestion on the
I'd
street.
like them to have a designated area to park. Right now, they're parking anywhere, and when visitors come, contractors come, they pull in all different parts of the yard. Sometimes they do pull up. to that
So
retaining wall.
you're for this change?
I think we need to, I think it's more of a planning and zoning issue than it is a historical. I don't
okay.
feel like they're changing, like, I don't know the difference between planning and zoning and historical. I've been in town for 5
Yeah.
years and I haven't seen.
Yeah, I don't always either. I wasn't sure I understood how this was gonna make it worse for you.
How it's gonna impact me? Well, I feel like now that they converted the garage into another residential, we're just gonna have more cars around. I mean, how many parking spots do you need for one piece of property?
Uh-huh.
And who buys a house without a driveway? I don't know. You know,
may I ask a question, this is more of a rhetorical question, what would you suggest to be a fix? I mean, they need parking, parking the street's not gonna help, but if you had a magic wand, what would your suggestion
I
be?
would say the place down by on 215, right next to that other Airbnb that they're running down there. Put it down there. There's already a 3 parking spot off of 215, right? What's up against their property.
Secret mermaid?
Yes.
That's the name of the property, sorry.
So I guess I've never done this before, so I don't,
Yeah,
what else,
no, no.
what else are you looking for? I'm just speaking as a concerned citizen and as
And you
part of
have-
my community. We're
And you
very,
have every right and
have
you're
2
doing-
small kids. We're gonna, I don't know, there's a lot of cars around, a lot of trucks, a lot of action. Not what I expected when I bought a house in the historical district of Mystic, that's for sure. So I guess, I mean, if you have no more questions, now I don't know what else to say.
no, I mean, do you guys have any?
Did Lori want to say?
Thank
something?
Can you say something?
It would be up to the chairman. to-
Directly to me or to them?
Well, you should not.
No, no,
There's
hold on. There's no comment.
The chair.
All right. So
I was
I,
surprised that she wanted to say.
I'm going to ask, I don't want to cut you off. Are you done with your presentation?
Yeah, like I said, this
Okay.
is my first time. I didn't really know
Yeah.
what you
No, you
guys
did-
expected. I
and again,
was just trying
you
to.
did nothing
All right.
Improper or incorrect, so
Thank you.
All right,
thank
thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Um. s- is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak?
Yeah.
Okay, yes,
I live at 7 Ashby Street. My name is Eileen Cosgrove. So Tim and I live on the same side of the street. And I have to say, putting these pictures on the table is a little like driving your car through, looking through the rearview mirror. Okay, so I'm the red dot. I printed it out. I'm the red dot.
Excuse me, I'm
So
sorry, what was your last name? again?
it's Cosgrove,
Cosgrove.
COSGRIFF as in Frank. And so I echo the sentiments that and the comments that Tim have. I think first of all, yay, I'm glad they're trying to figure out appropriate parking. So that's because it is a tight street. I'm glad they're trying to get their cars off the road. This picture.
just do one picture at a time. There you
Yeah, here we go. That guy?
Yep.
So this is the view driving up his driveway, which I have right away to. So you can see it picks up, like if someone is parking in front of that, right outside on the street next to that barn. Turning into our driveway is a pinch. Sometimes you can't turn into the driveway. I had a flat tire the other day, the tow truck couldn't get down the driveway because there's a car there. So, yeah, I'm glad if they want to do this, they have to be entirely off. I mean, park in front of their. This guy. I'm good, I did it right, yes, kind of scooch over to the barn, but then as Tim pointed out, when they open the door, they may be awfully close to their house. But they need to be off the road, otherwise we have issues turning left into our driveway. And I guess just from that perspective, I had a conversation with Officer Sharif Afifi about the whole street. Everyone who lives on the left-hand side who has a driveway, when there's a lot to celebrate in downtown Mystic, people park on the right-hand side with not a lot of care for left-hand turns, right? So it's the whole street really should be taken a look at. And I realize that's not
Can I
what you
interrupt
want
for
to
a second,
discuss in
ma'am?
this
I just
meeting.
think all these gentlemen are aware Officer Fifi is the community service officer for downtown.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so I get that's not on the table here, but just in general, it's very difficult parking on the street. Anyway, so one observation I had is from what I heard from Lori's presentation, she's asking for 5 or so parking spaces. And for 2 buildings of this size, one is what, like
I
11?
only heard 3.
Oh, I thought it was 2 in front of the building and 3 on the parking pad right next door.
No, I heard 3. I don't know. I heard 3 total.
I thought it was 3 as well. That's what I thought.
Okay. I thought the last presentation was 2 in front and 3 on the side.
Well, the number of spaces is immaterial to us, I think. It's what she's laying out. Not how many cars can park there.
For historic.
Right.
Historic,
guys.
Right.
Yeah,
historic perspective.
so, you know,
So out of curiosity, what town?
at least, can you help me out, staff? I don't think we have anything
don't-
to do with
No,
how
so
many.
number of
their-
spots.
Their job is to look at it from
The
a
bricks,
historical
the materials.
significance
The
perspective.
materials.
Not a function,
Not
not
a use.
not traffic congestion, not any of those items. That would be planning and zoning.
Okay,
And what you would probably contact Deb Jones in the planning department.
yeah, I know where.
And you can discuss the specifics of her, she has an accessory dwelling unit approval.
Mhm.
That she had to demonstrate parking for,
Mhm.
and now she's altering the parking. And you can talk to Deb and find out if the altering the parking is going to affect her ADU parking. As part of her ADU approval, she had to demonstrate the parking, so she would ask Deb how adding this parking affects that. If she's
Okay.
going to be required to abandon that on-street parking based on the
Yep.
fact that she now has off-street parking to accommodate the buildings,
Okay,
or if she's going to be allowed to retain the on-street parking and add the additional 2 to 3 spaces that she's proposing.
okay.
Just so you know, we're looking at pea stone and bricks and veneer. That's what, I'm just, I don't want to sound, anything, but I'll
The
just be-
extent to which someone has pea stone and brick, like, I mean, if I had pea stone and brick my whole front yard,
you'd present to us and you'd come for a pre-app, we'd tell you, we give you advice on what you'd do.
If you're,
And then-
if you're, I'm sorry, Bill, to
Okay.
interrupt you, but if you were creating parking.
Yeah.
You would have to come in front of these guys
got it,
to present what the appearance of the parking is going to be.
Okay.
From a historical significance standpoint.
okay,
If the fact that you are creating the parking and you might be creating parking in a non-compliant location. That might be in violation of the zoning regulation, that would not be considered here.
okay,
So I know it is kind of a fine line with some stuff, but there is a line between.
okay.
I have a question for staff. Has Deb made that determination yet, or is that being looked at, or?
Nope, and then nothing has been brought to us on it.
Right.
There's no applications. This is her first step in doing this. She is aware that she has to get a permit for the retaining wall.
So the process come here first and then go,
Correct.
To them?
We highly recommend everybody comes here first,
okay,
because if they went through a different process and then they came here and didn't like the appearance, it could potentially affect that process and
understood.
make them have to go back again. If coming here, they were required to alter something
Mhm.
that changed the actual approval that they got somewhere else.
Okay. All right, that's good to know. Yeah, so that's, I guess, pea stone and brick are lovely.
Right.
Okay,
All right.
thank you for your time.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Anybody else have questions?
I do, and I might be missing it.
Hold on, I think there's another person.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Another neighbor.
It took a minute. Jeff Blevins, 17 Ashby Street. So I bought Ransford Ashby's old house back in '99. Turned a 4-family into one in an annex, or one in
Accessory dwelling.
accessory. And so ever since I bought, these Airbnbs have been coming up. And 2 Ashby actually started renting full-time, so I think they can't do an Airbnb anymore, right? After the May.
They have an approval for an accessory dwelling unit. They do not have short-term rental approval at this point.
So they don't live there, and I think they're getting ready to sell. So I think they're prepping this up because they moved all kinds, the barn used to be Dave's barn. And he used to work on Corvettes, and he did the software for race cars. And he had like a Bridgeport mill in him. So anyways, I think if 2 Ashby wants parking, they just pull them in the barn. They got barn doors if you need. I have a barn, that's where I park. So I think what they're doing is they're prepping it to sell as another. However many I saw them moving mattresses in there, in the barn. So
Well, that building has been converted to an accessory
I
dwelling.
know,
Okay.
I know. So it's just a wrong trend. You know, it's supposed to be residential. I don't know what happened to that.
And I don't want to be,
Go ahead.
I don't want to be.
Go ahead, tell me to shut up.
No, that's,
I'm kind of venting. just a little bit.
I just wanna bring it back to
Yeah.
who we are
So,
and what we
I know,
vote
I
on.
know.
We're brick,
I knew
pea
Chuck
stone
Nato
and veneer.
I knew Chuck Nato when Peter Springstill and his group kind of redid this. So
So-
anyways,
I'm
I
I'm
think-
just saying like,
I would say I know what our purview is, but if remember the public wants to speak in a couple minutes. this
oh, no, I'm not cutting you off. I'm just want
that's
you to
okay.
understand
I
what
clip
we,
it all the time.
no. I'm
So
not,
I'm just saying.
I just want
think-
you to understand what we do here.
I think this
That's all.
change is if you're having more curb cut, it's for more parking and it's not for the people that live there. It's a profit. It's a for-profit. And our neighborhood shouldn't be all these for-profit things. I mean, and then when they come in, they're like 30-year-olds on spring break. And it's just, I'm ready, my wife wants to stay, but I'm ready to move. We're just sick and tired of, and then you got the secret mermaid. Guy lives in Boston. And then when they do all this construction, they block off the street. And I called Sharif and I asked him about moving these trucks. Because the secret mermaid had the whole lane blocked off for a whole day. So that's my thing is, don't let them put in more parking, more of this, more of that, for people that don't live there. That's my point. And if they okay it, if they put in the retaining wall, shouldn't it be stone like the house?
That's what these guys decide.
And if they put it in the fence, isn't it supposed to be like 4 feet high? Because that's what the guidelines say. I mean, I read them like 20 years ago, but it's a 4-foot picket fence, I think.
Fences
It's in
can
there.
vary.
It's in there. So I'm against, any more changes. That's good. Keep the neighborhood the way it is.
Parking's a big problem.
Parking's an issue
I don't know,
It's a
everywhere
big issue.
in Mystic.
You don't have problem.
I don't, you don't either, do you? Any questions?
I have no question.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Was there,
Hey, Bill,
but wait, I think there's one
Okay.
more. Good evening,
Levens, 17 acres.
Sue Blevins. Blevins. ENS.
So my concern is that I don't believe they're really getting a net gain in overall parking by adding the parking. And it will be very visible from the main road. So that retaining wall will be,
Right there.
Right there.
so it does need to be, if it is going to be approved, it needs to have an appropriate stone wall. But they still will be very visible and look like they're driving right off into the main road. So I do think there's also needs to be something to make it not look that obvious from the main road. It's going to be very obvious without some hedge or something that blocks that there's a car teetering on the road. And I really don't think that they're getting a net gain in overall parking by adding that. I do agree with some of my peers behind me that we probably need to bring some concern to town planning about no parking areas because of not being able to get in and out of their driveways. I also I was really prepared about the fence because that would be very visible and it'd just be like a big billboard from the main road, but that's been pulled off. Stockade is not appropriate for the historic district, and certainly not this neighborhood. It'd be one thing if it was a neighborhood with lots of stockade, but it's not. So that's my perspective against the parking area. I don't think there's a net gain.
Questions from the committee? Anything? Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak? Okay, I'm gonna let John speak and then I'm gonna,
I already saw it. I was just wondering, I missed it on the app and showed it to me, so I'm good.
okay.
Little clarification.
I'm going to make the decision to allow Laura Finan was a student of mine 20 years ago. Sorry.
I'm not sure how to follow this all up, but I do want to say a couple of things. One is I really appreciate the sticking, all of the construction and the noise and the traffic. That is, I appreciate the, them the neighbors dealing with that. That is, it's a big deal when somebody's doing renovations. I didn't bring my materials back up, but we're trying to take parking off the street. And we're trying to provide a means to do so by taking, two cars to pull in, and in the front, there's room for a car and there's room for a car to just pull right off the street. And if we put grass there, everybody's gonna park on the street to go downtown. If we have it as pea stone, we're gonna keep that open where the barn doors are. So I really don't have anything else to say because what I'm following is, but I just wanted to say that, as far as Airbnb, we rented it a few times. This is, I know you not even, but I'll just say it. We had a renter in there for, a year-round renter. I have a business downtown and I live there. I am there 5 days a week for the last couple of months, so. Who's laughing, I'm not sure, but it's my things in the house, and you know what, it's my business. So with that, thank you all very much.
All right, thank
I
you.
think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we've heard the pros and the cons, and I think I can now close HDC.
Sorry, the numbers.
Here, do you wanna look at
There you
mine?
go.
HDC 25-0017 is now closed. Okay, so that now closes the public hearing section of the evening. And so now the committee will discuss each presentation, application, and do a vote for the consideration. So HDC 25-009 was withdrawn. So now we'll go to HDC 25-0015, which is, although it was our first presentation, it's the circular sign. It's a like for like. Was there any questions, comments, considerations from the committee?
No.
A motion from the committee? I'll make a motion to approve the sign.
Second, Ernst.
Okay. Vote,
Goodrich, nay.
Aye. Ernst, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Keithman, aye.
Kohler, aye.
Okay, so HDC 25-0015 has sign up there. Okay. We'll now go to HDC 25-0016, which is Steamboat Wharf's boiler application. Any questions or comments from the committee? All right, anyone want to start, make a motion?
I make a motion to approve Goodrich.
Ferguson, second. We'll take a vote.
Goodrich, aye.
Ernst, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Keithman, aye.
Kohler, aye.
All right, HDC 25-0016. Steamboat Wharf is approved. We'll now go to HDC 25-0017 to Ashby Street. Any thoughts?
So one thought I have, this is for me personally, I don't know how the rest of you guys
Can I just
feel.
interrupt real quick?
Of course.
Before you have a discussion, you should probably get a motion on the floor.
Oh, okay,
The discussion should
he's
ensue
right.
after a motion.
okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Keithman, second.
Okay, discussion.
So, I try and walk all these properties personally before one of these meetings. I did not this time. I've been busy moving my own problem. The retaining wall and the mass of it, I never walked it from Noank Road, and I think there's some valid historical or design concerns there for me. I would like to continue to the next meeting so I have a chance to walk that and see how it does look from the public way. That's me personally.
I would agree with that. I'd like to do the same.
So if you guys are okay, I'll make a motion to continue it, so at
Well,
least.
we have to vote my
Oh,
motion
sorry.
down. And then. So,
So that probably should have been done instead of the public hearing being closed. Because technically, once the public hearing is closed, you're not supposed to take information in outside. You're not supposed to take information in on a closed public hearing. I believe you can take information from other departments or other town agencies. But I don't know how that would work as far as postponing the vote to collect more information at this point.
Is that a town or you're referring to Robert's Rules of Order?
That should be under Robert's rules.
So-
Information is collected under, anything that is that the commission uses to determine their decision should be collected during an open public hearing.
Although I'll say Robert's Rules of Order as a guideline, it's not supposed to impede the flow. of
So
business
that's
either.
why I'm broaching the subject, so you guys can carefully consider how you want to do this. If you were to postpone the vote, I wouldn't recommend that you postpone the vote for the purpose of collecting additional information. I'd recommend that you postpone the vote just to a later meeting.
And could we ask the applicant to provide some more information that can reopen it tonight and hear from her?
I believe you could ask for information specifically only to the comments that were presented during public hearing. If you're looking for clarification on those items.
I have a question relative to that.
Yeah.
So. And I don't know. if
That would
you-
be up to the chairman to allow
Okay.
input at this point. It wouldn't be me, but that would be his call.
All right, so this is. I'm processing. so
Yeah.
I'm not,
You could revisit closing the public hearing and continue the public hearing. And take
That's what I was-
and add a vote and do that. Reconsider closing, take an act, the commission decide if they want to reconsider the vote on closing the public hearing. If that passes, then the public hearing would be open at that point. You would
make a motion.
make a motion to continue the public
Okay,
hearing.
That's what I.
The public hearing
okay.
would stay open and it would be continued.
Till the next
meeting.
meeting. Okay, so. Just from a formality of Robert's rules and everything, the motion on the floor is to approve. And so if there's obviously a feeling amongst certain members that maybe we reopen the public hearing so we can continue it. So I'm gonna, because the motion's on the floor, I'm gonna throw it to a vote and we'll see what happens.
So
So
I'm sorry, I'm lost. What's the purpose of the vote?
purpose of the vote is to get a sense, I don't want to influence any member of the vote, but the concept is that if this vote fails, then we have the opportunity to
Continue.
reopen the public hearing and make it a
I
continuation.
thought if the vote fails, then she doesn't pass. Am I correct, Tim, or am I missing something?
Um,
Because the motion is to approve, so if we vote it down, it's
it's correct.
right. So we have to make a new motion to reopen the public hearing. Is that correct? If that's what we choose to do, if there's somebody who wants to make that motion.
Yes,
So
If you-
can
if
I
you make a
withdraw
motion-
my motion?
If you make a motion to approve under considerations and it gets denied.
Yeah.
And it's not because of a lack of information
Right.
or an incomplete application or the person's not here or whatever.
So can I withdraw my motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm withdrawing my motion. All right, I would like to make a new motion, if it's okay with the committee, to reopen the public hearing on HDC 25-0017.
Goodrich, second.
Any discussion on that? All right, let's take a vote.
Goodrich, aye.
Ernst, I.
Ferguson, I.
Keatsman, I.
Kohler, aye.
Okay, so the motion passes that we're gonna reopen HDC 25-0017 to the public hearing. Any more thoughts from the public?
I have a technical question to staff. Would it be appropriate for me to ask the homeowner to walk and show me where she wants to put the retaining wall, or should I just use the map and what's considered appropriate and inappropriate in that case? Just so we're doing the right thing.
I believe you could, providing that it was you and only you.
Okay.
And there weren't other members there that would constitute a meeting.
All right.
That would be up to the owner, whether or not she wants to, provide that information to you on a private basis.
Okay.
Okay, so nothing from the public, nothing from the committee. I'd like to make a second motion.
Wait, hold on. We got the public hearing happening now, right?
Right, and I just asked the public if they had anything.
Oh, I have something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I asked the committee. I
Yeah.
didn't hear.
I'm sorry, I was spaced out. The reason I wanted to come back to it for a second and talk about it is the point that was made about the retaining wall, sticking up and cars look like they're going off the end. I walked the property today from all sides, and I got curious about the retaining wall will be visible from the lower street. I think that's pretty clear. And I think it's going to look like a stone wall or a cliff. And my thought is it doesn't look I think stone walls and cliffs look kind of historic, so I'm not sure that I have anything against that retaining wall. My question was how high it's going to be, because I was curious, but I'm not sure it matters now that I've thought about it a little longer. So I was thinking of asking if she knew how high that wall is going to be above grade from the downhill side, because I wanted to get a sense for how tall it's going to be. And now that I've thought about it, I'm not sure it matters. I'm comfortable with it, no matter how tall it is, I think. So I
think it's
I'm having
fair.
trouble coming up with it. And then, okay, a car sitting there. Cars are everywhere. They're also not historic, right? So we sort of have to kind of ignore them in general. And I come back to them looking for a reason, trying to stay in the lane of historic preservation, that what's not historic about the application. And I understand that the Airbnb is a hot topic. I understand parking is a super hot topic at this location. But those aren't really our lane.
I was gonna say that those are the things that.
Right. No,
You may bring them up in discussion as part of, you probably shouldn't even bring them up. in
no, I don't.
discussion
Either.
at
I would.
consideration.
No, I wouldn't.
In all honesty,
No.
from what you just spoke of, I think it would boil down to, if you had a question of the height. You could, whereas the public hearing is now continued to be open, that would be collecting information. You could ask the presenter if she had any indication of how tall or the exposed face would be. And I think as far as anything beyond that, it would probably, you should probably hold it for the discussion part of the discussion portion of the consideration.
I'll ask the question because I'm just curious now that you, how tall will 4 feet?
And there's an existing wall already there.
Right.
4 feet above the grade.
So it'd be continuing here.
That's there.
So just so I'm clear, my understanding is there's a wall there already. You're not adding height to that wall. You're replacing that
The
wall.
retaining wall will run from.
It's getting
It's getting,
laterally, right.
It's going all the way.
So it is being moved out,
So,
It's
and then
not
they're gonna
going out.
backfill all this.
right, so it's so where there's a gap.
but it'll drop down in
Yes.
grade further because you're going further
that
down
gap is, it's gonna be a
the
new
hill,
wall.
correct?
That's what.
So they'll, this would be the new 2 parking spaces.
I get it. It's
So
just like I said, I'd like to look at it because I always do that. And I feel
Okay.
I'm not doing you or anybody else a service by not doing that.
What is the depth between the street and the retaining wall?
Between the street and the retaining.
Yeah, if you're pulling into that space.
I gave the architectural drawing to you and I'm not sure.
It doesn't have any height.
Yeah, he's
Doesn't have
looking
any
for a
measure.
distance.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, if you could scale it, the sidewalk, I think was proposed to be 4 feet.
So yeah, so it's like a good 16 feet.
enough to get a car.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So-
If this is 4 feet,
That's 20.
that's at least 16, 20.
Yeah. I think the big issue that was raised here was the parking issue. And that's not ours to comment on.
Right.
And it seems to me that that's the issue you need to resolve. And living on High Street, we had to deal with people parallel parking and driving angle parking on our front lawn when we moved there. So I think that's a huge issue that's not, I think the arborvitae's an improvement over the fence. Not sure if that's I think that's our issue. So I think the parking issue is a big issue, and I think that needs to be resolved by, not us.
Yeah.
That's a planning zone thing.
Right. Okay,
That will be looked at during the application process.
so
And I think there's.
anything else?
No, I'm good.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you would put an application in for the retaining wall. And it would be a building permit application, and building permit applications are reviewed by zoning.
Which is already-
It's already in, yeah.
I have thoughts about it, but I think I shouldn't. Given the parameters of this group.
Again, it's you guys' job to look at how it has.
We're looking at
fits in
brick,
for
pea
historic
stone,
character.
Piece
You're not
stone.
looking at whether or
In
not
mass.
somebody's gaining, yeah, you can look at the mass.
Yeah, no,
Historic character, you're not looking at whether or not somebody's gaining or losing or impacting on-street, off-street parking.
Right.
That's his own thing.
correct.
Quick question. May I?
Of course.
I just want to confirm that the facing of the retaining wall is going to be the stone that you showed.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Any motions want to be made?
We gotta close the public hearing.
Oh,
You should probably make a motion to continue it
Yeah,
because
right, that's-
members want to
right, that's what I'm gonna do.
look at
So,
the site.
all right,
If you don't want to continue it, then
You can vote against the
vote
motion.
down, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
So I make a motion to continue, so those of us that want to can view the site.
Kohler seconds.
okay, let's take a vote.
Goodrich, aye.
Hold on, now we can debate that.
Correct.
Oh,
We can have a
right.
discussion.
I don't think we need to wait. I don't think that anything's gonna be gained by looking at. I
You-
think there's a
you got
couple
chance
things
to
wrong with
walk and look at it.
touring. I did it before the public hearing. And I think that's open. One of the things in freedom of information is if we're all going to look at it, we're essentially having a public hearing outside of public view, which I think isn't necessarily appropriate.
Town staff raised that that's not the case. I asked
I'm still
specifically.
talking.
Okay,
When I'm done, you can stay. So at least one of the freedom of information I went to said you're not supposed to have a meeting in series like that, to all go visit a place, which I thought maybe is taking that a little bit too far. But I'm also comfortable with approving based on what I know today and what she's presented. And I think our mandate is to present based on what's in the public view, like this hearing, and not on the sidewalk with the applicant. So I would propose that we not continue it. So I'm going to vote against continuing. But if you guys want to go have a look, we can all have a look. I've already had my look, so I feel satisfied.
Okay.
so okay, can I ask a clarification question of Commissioner Keatsman?
Sure.
So you said looking at it as freedom of a violation of FOI, but you looked at it in violation of FOI? Did I understand your comment correctly?
No, that's not what he said. No, he said that.
Do you have a question for me?
Yes, that was the
What
question.
was the question?
Is it viewing it a violation of FOI or not? Because you said it is, but then you said you did it, so I'm confused.
He didn't look at it under the context of an open public hearing.
Right.
Okay, but I think I asked the question if that was okay. You said it was. So I'm just trying to, who's right and who's wrong? Should we not look at them or should we?
What's that? Oh, I think you're okay to look at it.
Okay.
The public hearing is open and your viewing it doesn't constitute a meeting.
All right, thank
That
you.
would be my opinion of it.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Providing the public hearing is continued.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? All right, let's go to a vote.
Goodrich, aye.
Could you repeat what the motion is?
The motion is to continue this public hearing until the next meeting.
Ernst, nay.
Ferguson, nay.
Keithman, nay.
Kohler, aye.
All right, so 3-2. So I would like to make, I mean, to me, there's enough evidence to make a decision.
Yep.
And so I'm gonna revisit my first motion and make a motion to approve this application.
Is it modified or?
It's
stipulated
modified without the
to
fence.
Withdraw the fence?
Yep, that's modified on the application.
Keithman, second.
All right, let's go to a vote. Oh, sorry. Anyone want to have a discussion? No. All right, we'll go to a vote.
Goodrich, nay.
Ernst, aye.
Ferguson, aye.
Keithman, aye.
Kohler, aye.
All right, so the application passes and with the modification that the fence was removed. Right.
Oh, no, I switched it to nine. Place first.
All right, okay. So with that, the consideration of public hearings has now come to a close. We are now in the pre-application review. I have nothing on my agenda, but I know there's people here. So,
There's a sign-in sheet and I have one pre-app here
okay,
that is ready to go.
okay. So
So I'd recommend that you take
recess.
this one. That you take this one.
Okay.
First.
Okay, oh, thank you. Okay,
Thank you all.
all right. Okay, so because we have some new people on the commission and just what we're doing now, it's not necessary to the full extent, but what we're doing
Yeah.
is anytime we have a pre-application, someone makes a motion to accept a pre-application, add it onto the agenda, and then we take a quick vote, and then I'm not gonna offer discussion. I mean, I'll offer discussion, but I'm just saying that
Thank you.
that's the process we've been following as of late. So right now I'd like to offer up HDC 25-008 as a pre-application. I would like to make the motion to accept that onto the agenda. And yes,
Kohler, seconds.
all right, vote.
Goodrich, aye.
Ernst, aye.
Ferguson, aye.
Keithman, aye.
Kohler, aye.
Okay, HDC 25-008, 27 West Mystic Avenue. Is that applicant here? Excellent. Right.
Doing?
Good, thank
Are
you.
you?
No parking issues. All right. So we're looking to upgrade siding and windows.
Name and address, sir.
27 West Mystic Ave, Sal Riccardi.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have this?
Yes.
Do you need
No.
this? Okay,
That's
I
your.
don't have that.
Oh,
okay.
I don't have.
I'm gonna give this to you so you can present to the group.
This is a pre-app that you've already got?
This is the
Application?
pre-app that has an application already submitted.
Yeah.
Just missed the deadline.
This is-
I got a raised hand
It's
here.
it's
Hold on.
backwards from what you think, Mr. Riccardi. Keep going.
No.
Keep going. There you go.
Good.
So close, so close.
Okay, so that's the front of the house. So we're looking to upgrade the siding and all the windows.
Sir, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yeah.
I had somebody online raise their hand and I just want to find out what it's for. Okay.
Hi, I'm Helen Sherman. I live at 324 High Street. I put an application in later today for replacing 2 windows that need replacing immediately. I want to be added to the pre-application process.
All right, I'm gonna. 324 high,
Yes.
You're,
I
you're,
mean, all the windows need to be replaced, but at the moment I only need two.
okay. All right, well, you're added to the list. You'll be voted.
We'll come back to
We'll
you.
come
Back
back.
to you.
Thank you.
All right,
Mr.
Thank you, sir.
McCarty,
so that's the front. This is the north side. So there's two windows up top. The bottom half of the house, actually, this window is part of the project right there. Plus the two upper windows.
Is that upper window behind the tree that?
Yeah, that was done last year. Okay. So the south side of the house isn't visible. I couldn't get a clear picture
When you
But
say it's
there's
not
two-
visible, it's not visible from the
from the
street.
street. Yeah, so, but there's two windows on that side, upper half of the house.
So just point to us.
Yeah.
Where the views we just saw.
Driveway, you're looking at the front of the house.
Okay.
North side. South side. I couldn't get a picture from the street.
I thought that would be the second most visible part. Okay.
Yeah, now you can, you can see the north side because the way the house is angled.
Okay.
All right, so we're looking to replace the siding with hardy plank siding. Color is slightly different than what's on the house right now. This color is a light blue. We're looking to go to a light gray. So it's similar, but it's not a blue.
Can you show us on the screen?
Color's not.
And you can do any color.
Yeah.
Yeah, color's not part of our purview.
Right,
Yeah.
I just.
Well, are you gonna do the smooth or the wood grain? Smooth, okay.
What shade of gray are you?
So it's gonna look like same siding, but it's hardy plank. Okay, and then the windows are Anderson. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see those.
What series number are they?
400.
And what's the,
Simulated divided. line.
is it SDL? Simulated divided light?
Yep, it's 2/1.
And the house currently has 2/1?
No, it's 6/9 replacement windows right now. So we're looking to take the replacements out, put in new construction.
There's grills between the glass.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
That's different.
typically not recommended.
Yeah,
The grills between the glass.
right.
It's not recommended.
No.
So what would be recommended?
Yeah, the grills would be proud of the glass.
Simulated.
Yeah,
Simulated.
simulated divided light.
That's why I was asking, because I didn't see simulated
So
divided light
simulated
anywhere.
on the outside on the inside of the
It'd be
window, on the,
outside and
Both
inside.
sides.
Both sides.
Yeah,
okay.
There's also a little spacer in between.
Yeah.
If you look at all the detail, it's detail that will get brought up in the real hearing, so
Yep.
Okay.
make sure you get the text right.
Simulated
I would,
grill
They're
pattern.
very specific about the.
windows are something we're very careful about, and I want to address Tim's point about you're changing the pattern.
Yeah.
Is there a reason? I'm just curious.
Well, the 6/9, I don't think there's any house on that street that has a 6/9.
Okay.
Where I think the 2/1 probably fits the neighborhood better than the 6 over 9. There's more houses that I've seen with 2 over 1, 1 over 1.
Are the windows original?
No, they're replacements.
I'm gonna speak, because this is pre.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Because this is a pre-app, I'm gonna speak for myself.
Sure.
I would like to see pictures of your neighbors and what windows they have.
Yeah.
And again, I'm only saying that because I didn't. I went for a walk today, but not around.
Yeah.
The neighborhood. I just went around my house. So I would like to see like comparable
Yeah.
neighbor
Sure.
windows, and if they're 2 over 1, then I'm more likely to.
Yeah.
Embrace the 2 over 1. I'm just
Yeah.
speaking for myself. I'm not
Yeah.
speaking for the others 5 people sitting next to me. I would like to see something that fits the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I would definitely knowing that people are gonna be coming back to the group, to the commission, that feel very strongly about simulated divided light and windows, and they're not alone, but to avoid
Yeah.
any discussion, just
Yeah.
go with it.
But with his neighborhood, I'm gonna say, and once these guys don't probably accept for this guy, I'm the biggest stickler on, you know,
The biggest-
preservation. Westminster Avenue, it's a real mixed bag. I mean, you have
Yeah.
an Octagon house, which is 1 of 20 in the country, all the way to your house.
Which is.
So to me,
whatever.
I think whatever fits the house, I agree with it, maybe the 2 houses side by side, but that should have a lot more forgiving, because you just have a mix of architectural.
Correct,
Styles.
but I just wanna,
And I'm an alternate, so I may or may not be voting that day, so take that with a grain of salt, but that's.
but for me, I would just think it would strengthen
Yeah.
your
Yeah, no,
presentation if you said,
Yeah.
this is my neighbor's house, and even if you use that argument to say. There's no rhyme or reason on this street, but I just think. With what is in this file as of right now, I think it would strengthen your.
Yeah.
Your presentation. To show. You know.
yeah, I'll try to take
Exactly.
some pictures without
Yeah.
somebody taking a shot at it.
Can I ask a question on this?
Yep.
Typically 6 over 9 are like a cottage style window, where the bottom sash is substantially larger than the upper sash.
Right,
Is that the case here?
no,
It's not,
No.
okay.
They're both equal. The upper
They're
and
equal.
lower not today are equal?
They're
Are you
not
changing the
equal.
size of the window at
We're
all, the
going to
opening?
New construction that fits that
It's the windows
original
are the same
size of that
size?
window.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the age of the house?
1967.
Oh, so it's.
That's why I said with your house,
Yeah.
and these guys know I'm the guy that wants like. As one guy said, my horse drawn buggy with hand dipped candles, but with your house, it just, you know. And that the whole street's a mixed bag. That's
Yeah.
why I think it's.
Yeah, I just haven't
In my
seen
opinion.
any other windows that look like a 6 over 9.
But the house is trying to be historic, trying to be, whether it's 67 or
Right.
not, so I would
Right.
err on the side of being more historic.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll come back with some pictures.
I just want you to give the best presentation so that everybody has the most information and can make an
Can I
educated.
submit the pictures digitally?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You still probably want to have copies when you come for your presentation though, if
Okay,
you can. Because we'll do this and they'll be projected.
Yep.
It'll be a public hearing, so give everybody an opportunity,
Yep.
whether in audience or online to view.
I'll take those back and put them in this.
Yeah.
I think you, so the Hardy's good, Anderson 400's good. Are you gonna do new trim around the windows as well?
white, white,
PVC or something?
Yeah.
Make sure you
to
include,
match the existing.
okay, make sure you include that
Put that
in the materials list
Yeah.
if it's not there.
And yeah, definitely, I'm a stickler for materials, that's my. Angle.
So I think I heard this, but I just want to make sure you've already got Hardy on half the
Right.
bottom half. You're
Yeah, the bottom sides is Hardy
okay.
with PVC trim already.
And this is going to finish the whole
Gonna
house?
finish the whole.
So it'll all match?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We're not in color, but there's a slight difference,
Yeah,
Right. just barely.
yeah.
Right. Only people like right next door might be able to tell. I'm kidding, sorry, I shouldn't do that.
And please know, I don't hear any resistance. I don't want to speak for the group, but I just want you to just,
The windows
just-
gotta be right.
just make sure the windows are right,
When
obviously.
you come here.
Party
Yeah.
plank, we're supportive and the trim is listed. and then Sounds like your application would be.
If you switch over.
Alright, does that help?
Yep.
Make sure you identify all the windows that you're changing.
Right.
More clearly
Circle
on
them
the drawing,
on the-
even if you can't, well, I would do all the ones you're gonna change.
Okay,
'cause
so
Yeah,
on a
and
picture
nobody-
like that, circle with a pen.
Yeah.
Or,
All right.
Okay.
Good.
alright, thank you,
Thank
Sal.
Mr. Cardy.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Curry. Alright, I'm just,
Can I just remind you guys, I think in an effort to maybe speed things along. There was a discussion at the last meeting about not having to put each pre-app. To make a motion and
Oh,
include it.
okay.
So you could just bring it up because
Is
there's
that
no
okay?
formal action being taken on it.
I just-
It can just be.
was wary after the Robert's Rules
Yeah.
meeting that it could go either way according to Robert's
Yeah.
Rules, and I
I
didn't.
thought Eric, you
At the
guys.
last-
yeah,
at the last
yeah,
meeting,
weren't
Eric said-
going to in the
Okay,
future.
okay.
I'm just,
Well, that was
If you
Eric,
want to,
Eric-
by
that
all
was
means,
Eric
yeah.
running that meeting, and
yeah.
I'm just gonna
So,
Eric said, he
so-
said
I'll
that,
be
he said
the
he was
bad
gonna wait
guy
to be
and just
corrected, I don't know if.
make it a little longer,
That's
so.
fine, that's fine.
I'm-
I just.
When Eric runs
It
the
was,
meeting,
it was simply a reminder, you do
Nope.
what you want.
okay,
and for the record, we're the only HCC in the whole state of Connecticut that adds pre-apps the way we do, so I don't think
well, I
there's
just,
any, that's my opinion, take it as. with
I'm
that,
erring on the
grain of
side
salt.
of, I'm erring on
You
the
do
side
it how
of,
you want,
so
Mr.
I'm just
Chairman. I
going
just
to,
mentioned that, that's all.
no, and so I'll be the bad guy, you can get mad at me, I'm adding 30 more seconds to every application. I'm making a motion to add Dan Heine, 15.5 Water Street to the pre-apps. So I'm making that motion, we don't need a second according to, I'll go right to a vote.
Oh, yeah, good or chai.
Bird's tie.
Ferguson, I.
Keith and I.
Kohler, aye.
Okay. Dan Heine, 15.5 Water Street.
Good evening. So this is for a balcony on the powerhouse condo, which was,
You've been
I thought you'd
before.
done that already.
That's it.
well, we discovered an issue with headroom clearance with the balcony above.
Oh.
Those the bracing coming down. Shouldn't be all the way out to the end of the balcony. It should be back 16 inches. And the woman that lives there doesn't want to change it, so. Basically, this application is to show that we've done our due diligence in every other approach that could be possibly done. So this application is to ask if we can put a balcony on that's wider than the existing ones, which I'm quite confident we can't. But when I have this denial, they can take it to her and say, you have to
Move the
move
brace.
those braces back.
All right. Just talk to me. I won't speak. Talk to me like I've never seen this proposal before, so take me step by step. What is the head room issue?
There's not enough.
Can you point on the,
Uh,
on your phone?
some,
Try to blow up a little for you there.
So that we were approved for a balcony in this empty space you see where it looks like one
Okay.
would go. If you're standing on the balcony. You know, you're walking close to the building, you're gonna bang your head on every one of those.
Those
angled
braces.
pieces above.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
So if they were done like the one on the first floor. That wouldn't be an issue, because those are set back. So as a result, where they attach to the building is higher.
I'm gonna go up to the screen.
Go ahead.
So this brace is proper.
Yep.
This brace comes down. If I were to measure this distance. It would be something comparable to this, as opposed to coming down halfway through the door. Where if I, as a human, walked out, I would turn and bang my head into that.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's.
Hey, your phone,
Big
um,
That clear to everybody?
I understand the head hitting. What I don't understand is how making the balcony stick out farther avoids the head hitting.
I
I had
guess
the same question.
due to the code, which my engineer explored, and I think possibly even talked to Tim about. If you look at the picture with the green rectangle,
He's on the other, yeah.
to your
Yeah, there
left
you go.
there. As long as you have a certain amount of clear space. Is the way I interpret it, then it meets code.
Ah,
So you need a certain width at a certain height.
what is that?
That's
what
not
is-
encumbered.
So
And as it was originally designed, it didn't meet that.
It's a code issue. Like, if
Yeah,
I walk next to the
right.
building, I'll still hit my head.
So in order to resolve it, the answer was amend the angle brackets for the upper deck and move them back.
Hmm.
And the owner of that deck was not in agreement to doing that.
Right.
So the other item was to amend and additionally, if they were installed as proposed, you would then create a code violation for headroom clearance on the deck below for the new angles that are being put in. So now you have a problem with the existing angles and you have a problem, you've created a problem with the new angles that are being put in. So the engineer came up with either, I haven't seen making the deck bigger. It was my understanding he was going to just move the angle brackets back to create. And that's what I issued an opinion on as being okay. I didn't see anything where he was proposing making the balcony actually project out further.
So yours, again,
Wait,
using,
I wanted, sorry, clarification, Tim, you said if it would impact the bottom with the same clearance issue, whether it's,
Yeah, because
As-
he's
as
got
a-
to put angle braces on to support the one that he's.
I got it, as originally proposed, or if he widens it, or it doesn't matter?
As originally proposed.
Okay, all right.
That was actually a mistake that he made. And he did the calculations and not only, and wants ours to be matching to the first floor.
Okay,
So I don't know if I need to do a new building permit for that.
probably, or just get a clarification from him, because it was the last thing I got from him was that the adjustments didn't affect the size.
So,
Yeah, I don't know exactly what
Yeah,
this approach, honestly, where it's coming from, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I think it's, the whole point is to get rejected. So
okay.
that
Yeah,
we
this is
have,
this is different than what we had originally
yeah, I know this won't
had
pass.
worked out, yeah.
Yeah,
so if you widen it, it's the same as the one below it, or it's wider than the two?
it's 8.5 inches deeper, essentially. So,
sticking out.
Yeah.
So it's,
So it would shade the
So
lower
it's-
one more.
yeah, and it would be visibly different from
Yeah.
above.
Right,
below.
I got that, I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
yeah, put it all together.
it would like, if this is the edge of the first floor, the second floor would go out to here. 8 inches, and the third floor would go back. Right.
Back to,
Does that make-
Whereas they're all supposed to look exactly the
They're
same.
supposed to be all flush.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna ask the obvious question, this gets denied, what, there's just no balcony?
No, then they have legal recourse with the third floor to essentially force her to change her angles.
Hmm.
Which, nobody wants it to come to that, but it looks like it's going to.
I just,
So was her balcony built incorrectly? How we get into this?
Yeah, it was built,
It wasn't that it wasn't built incorrectly, it just,
wasn't.
it
built
was
with
never
the
taken into
forethought.
consideration that there'd be another one below it.
that's a
Forethought.
better way to put it.
Yeah.
There was no forethought to think, oh,
Yeah.
there could be.
Right.
But it also doesn't match any of the other ones on the building, so it could be argued that it wasn't done,
Right, right. It met the design at the time that the engineer proposed. It was inspected and signed off on by the town, not me, people prior to me.
And we approved the balcony as presented.
Correct.
But-
And it wasn't until he started laying it out that he realized that he may be looking at a headroom issue, and he contacted me on it. And it was hard to just try to look at it and try to figure out and assume there might be one. So an engineer got involved and took specific measurements with dimensions and created, and it came to we come to understand that there was headroom issues.
I have my thoughts, but I'll defer to
So-
anyone.
Go ahead. So the upshot of all that is thinking of the one that's not built, that goes in that space of having it stick out 1.5 feet more is something you might want to ask permission for.
What was 8.5 inches, right? Mark?
8.5.
Oh, 8.5 inches out. I thought I said 1.5 feet, so I misheard that. But it wouldn't line up with the other.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to do that, really. We'd rather have the
Yeah,
one
okay, I
above.
understand.
A line, you want
Yeah.
on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm almost certain it wouldn't pass anyway.
How deep, I'm sorry, how deep are the?
4 feet.
They'd want to be 5.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be pretty noticeable, I think. They're having like a HOA meeting on Friday to discuss this, and my client asked if I could get some kind of written denial essentially, so that she can take it to the meeting.
Well, there wouldn't be, there's no
no
formal
writ-
decision
this
at
is
this
a pre-app.
application. This is
Yeah,
a
no, I know.
pre-application.
Sorry,
This is
so it
simply a
won't be a
discussion.
verbal,
Yeah,
you could show us the tape of this
Okay,
yeah.
open meeting to the public, but
yeah, Sue wasn't sure if it qualified under old business or something like that, so I wasn't so sure.
So, my opinion could be wrong, much like the retaining wall. I mean, I don't. Is width really something we can talk about? Or, I mean, it seems like it's really more of a issue outside of our purview.
What's that?
If it's, what do you say was with the headroom? Use the line, I'm sorry, a word. It's escaping me. It's non-compliant, right?
Right.
Is that really an HDC issue or more of a building department issue?
Well, you're not considering it for the headroom issue. You're considering it.
from an
He-
aesthetic.
The reason has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You're looking at what they are proposing.
Got
Yeah,
it.
and
Which I don't know if there's, sorry to interrupt, if there's really any point to doing this, to be honest.
yeah, my only feeling was I have a problem with it going boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I agree.
And because, I mean, I'm looking at it from purely aesthetic
Yeah.
perspective, and I don't want to, I just don't see why we would. We approved the other 3 with the sense that we expect them all to be uniform and look aesthetically historical. I know a metal thing sticking off a brick building is not
Not
something not historical. No,
Right.
and I'm acknowledging that right now. But at the same time, we have this, we want it to look pretty downtown and not have this, in my opinion, disjointed set of balconies. So that's my opinion. So I would like to hear from everybody on the commission on this concept, so he can go back and not just hear Bill Ferguson's opinion. So we'll start.
Yeah, I'm in the same place. I think they should all match aesthetically and dimension wise.
Yeah, I think perspective needs to be correct.
I'm hesitating because I don't think we should say how we're gonna vote.
Yeah.
Well, we're not voting, we're not voting,
Or how-
we're sharing, we're
We're
doing,
sharing-
we're sharing,
feedback.
wasn't allowed.
Feedback.
I would
We're
much,
giving the
I
gentleman
would much
feedback.
prefer them to be
Yeah,
all,
that's your feedback.
yeah.
That's not
great-
sharing your
a
vote.
big preference for them to all be consistent like originally proposed.
I think alignment's a good idea.
So I'm a little on the fence. I think alignment is important and perspective is important. We also give people 6-inch variance on fences, so they do
But
this.
that's the grade.
Let me finish. We give all type of wiggle room here and there. I mean, how bad is 8.5 inches gonna look from Water Street? I don't know. I mean, shooting from the hip, I agree with you guys, but you know, if it came to vote, if I'd
Well,
actually
you
say
can
that.
be undecided. You don't
Yeah,
have
you
to.
don't-
That's why I'm saying I'm on the fence. I'm tossing it out.
All this is a pre-app.
Yeah.
All we're doing is giving this gentleman
I got it, man. That's what I was.
information and he takes it and does whatever he wants with it. We're not voting, we're not telling him to do A or B. We're just saying, this is 8.5 right here. This,
I'm not even sure that it makes sense to have a formal meeting though. Because if the whole point of this is to have it not pass, then why don't I just not? you know, submit it, and then there's nothing to deny, and then they can go ahead and do whatever they need to do, and I don't have to.
You asked for, a pre-app is the applicant asking for our thoughts.
No, I
And
understand.
so we're giving you, what you do with that afterwards is,
I'm just doing this because the client asked me to do
okay,
it. so.
all right. So, I mean, I don't see. any-
I'm gonna go look at it, which,
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, so it's gonna look, it's not up there now, but the idea is to have it look exactly like the one on the first floor, and then to have the third floor one. Have her agree by some means to make her diagonal braces also match the first floor, and then everybody can move around freely.
They'll all be consistent.
Yeah, so.
That's what we're really shooting for. I think, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think there's a sense of consistency and.
So is there an argument from the historical perspective that the bracing should be changed anyway to match all the other ones on the building, or because it's already done, you have no purview there?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
done.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
can't change what's been done.
No retroactive.
Right.
Redo the whole thing.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good
Yeah,
night.
you too.
Thank you. Okay, next, I'd like to add Angela Cole, 32 New London Road to the, I'd like to make a motion to add 32 New London Road to the agenda. Go right to a vote. Goodrich,
Oh, Goodrich, aye, sorry.
Ernst, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Keith and I.
Kohler, aye.
All right, Angela Cole, please come and share.
Some good questions. I am working with a couple that just bought this house. And they want to do some major renovations.
I'm sorry, what was the address again? I didn't hear it.
32
Thank you.
London Road. I didn't really bring much. There's only 5 issues that are gonna relate to the exterior of the house. I think the interior of the house is completely separate
Can-
and it's just the
You want me to
outside.
switch over?
Yeah.
I didn't know if she had.
She had a picture.
Have a picture of it.
Yes. Put it-
Yeah. So if you can slide it into
To
the
Go to
screen,
the crack.
there's a camera straight up
Over
overhead.
No,
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 no.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
so just line it up with the crack.
There you go.
So look at the screen and move it around. There
Getting
you go.
closer.
There you go.
Oh, they just bought this house. It's a very cool house.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
house. Yeah.
it's lovely. They want to do a lot of work to it. It needs some
Just on
work.
the corner?
Yeah,
Yes, it
corner of
is.
the
Okay.
Yes.
Allen Street, Milton Road, yeah.
So one thing that just came up is they were, and this is new. As of a couple of days ago, the roof is leaking.
Hmm.
They were talking about putting dormers on the top, not now, a year from now. But now that the roof is leaking, that may be revised. So it's the rear roof. I don't know if that's something that's going to affect you guys with the historical society.
The rear,
Is it visible
That's
from a
the-
street?
It is visible.
The
from-
rear roof?
the rear roof is leaking. The front is where they want to put the dormer.
Oh,
And that is visible
yeah.
from the road.
what year is this house?
I think it was like 1940s.
Yeah, 1932 is what came to mind, so you're probably pretty close. The 20s or 30s going from memory anyhow.
So
So-
it is historical one.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. So I mean, if there's no chance that that's something that they would be able to do in the future, then we re-roof it now instead of
I
getting
would-
people up to
I would say no.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like putting dormers on a gambrel like that. I think it kills the
I'm the
lines.
same. I don't like the dormers on an old house.
So advise them against that, just do the roof.
Yeah.
And fix that. Okay. I'll let
But-
them know that.
So I just want to say that
Sorry
this is.
to interrupt.
I know, it's
No,
it's informal.
This is an advisory
Mhm.
consultation. Some of us might think a dormer is okay, some of us might not. And there's the commission is changing week to week because we have members
They
absent
could,
today,
they could
but.
visit that at a later time. I mean,
Right.
right now I kind of get the feeling that it might not pass and the roof is
Right,
more important
I-
than thinking
so-
about.
You decide what you want, judging from the vibe check from but we're not voting tonight,
Okay.
that's all.
The second issue, let's see if I can do this right now. This is the rear. This little shed right here is in lieu of a Belco that goes into the house.
So Jeff,
Would-
pull up the GIS.
Yeah.
is that shed visible from the street?
I don't think you can see it from the street, right?
You
From
can.
out.
You can't, yeah, you
Can you?
can.
I think you can a little bit
Just
from
a little
down the
bit?
street.
Okay.
Yep, right when you're coming in.
Well, there's a very long driveway.
Yep.
Over there
Mm.
with vegetation, so I did take a picture of that, so you can see like the corner of it sticking out. I have
Just-
another picture
Just
of
barely, yeah.
that. So yeah, you can just,
So what do they want to do on
What do
the
they wanna
back?
do?
they want to take that off.
Oh,
There's another
shed.
entryway into the basement.
Remove.
And it's just used for utilities.
just.
So that's what you can see from standing on the road.
So you slide that over a little bit, I just blew it up a little bit for you. There you go.
Thank you.
So I see a hedge, and where's the shed?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
On the other side.
They side of the hedge.
So that
I
roof
mean-
is this,
No,
But-
no, it's lower.
It's,
can you point
It's-
to it with your finger?
it's behind that hedge, right? On
Yeah,
the,
behind the hedge. Over there, so there's like a,
That little triangle.
Yeah.
Barely
Okay,
see it.
okay.
Right, and especially if you're a little further up coming toward the stoplight, I live on Irving Street,
Mhm.
you can just see it right as you go past.
okay. So that's what you see.
So you wanna,
And they want to just take that off. The homeowner would like to just put some cobblestone over there and then take these, let me go back. The windows to the left of that and put in a French door. So if you see the windows are not there, yep, right there, those windows. And like to put in a French door.
So sure, that's gonna be visible.
Yeah, I think.
The
that-
French door?
French
Yeah.
door.
I don't think.
Yeah,
it's-
plus I don't
I
think
mean,
that shed
it's
was
so,
a
like-
tack on after the fact anyhow, so
I don't know. The stairway going down is pretty old, but it's kind of
Not the primary.
Yeah, I-
not.
I think it's an improvement personally.
Okay,
Sorry.
so I know what I'm gonna do there.
Mhm.
Then the next thing is they'd like to
Wait,
put in a
wait,
mini,
On the shed,
yes.
is this fall into like demolition and stuff like that? as well,
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
Do we need
It
That-
would, should
that would
have
have
to
to be
request
done.
demolition,
60
yes.
days, or there's some extra rules when you're demoing something, isn't there? I mean,
Well, I haven't,
I don't know how technical we are about outbuildings like that, but.
Well, it's not really an outbuilding, it's connected.
To the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we probably, for the purpose of clarity, we would probably have them do a notice to abutters. Have them do the regular process if they're removing the place, in part, just like we would if it were in whole.
Right, I think so,
If
but
you're feeling good about it, I feel good about it, John. 'cause-
I think it's an improvement, don't you? I mean, you and I rarely agree, that's
Well,
like a pet occasion.
I wondered whenever we're taking away anything to be pretty sensitive about. what
Yeah,
we're
no, I
taking
think,
away,
like,
so.
I know I've known, but if, to be honest, like somebody built it after the fact. So I
he's
think,
got a
it-
beautiful plan.
Yeah.
To make this house
Yeah.
shine.
All
It's,
but I think it's an amazing house. I looked at it when it's for sale just to be a tire kicker, and I think it's
It
a
is.
gorgeous home.
it's
Right.
lovely. It's
Yeah.
got some weird things going on inside, but I think she's gonna
Right.
fix everything and just make it gorgeous.
Sorry, I interrupted you, had more.
French
Yes.
door.
The French door, and they are gonna be replacing windows. I don't think they're gonna do it now, and we don't need to talk about that. It'll match everything that's there. It's gonna be high quality, Marvin or Architectural Andersons, whatever it is. But they wanna put in mini splits. They wanna change the heating system out there, so they are gonna have to put condensers outside. And I was just a little concerned with how I'm gonna enclose those, because I know that's an issue. And my heating people went over there and they wanted me to ask while I was here, what is acceptable. I know that vegetation is not acceptable, I was told by the building department,
Correct, you can remove it.
because you could remove it, so, can you just put any type of fencing that kind of
Lattice
sort of
work.
lattice, something like that,
Lattice.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I think
And,
that's
and,
it.
and just, again, I'm an alternate, so I don't vote all the time.
Sure,
I'm a little more sensitive to the placement of the lines,
Mhm.
some other guys, so just keep that in mind too. I like them more hidden.
oh, they want it hidden.
Okay.
They don't even want to see it. They were talking about actually putting it up on the third story if they could, but they can't. So yeah, they're gonna want it hidden. They already have plans to do cobblestone around the house.
No, the lines going up the side of the house.
The line
What-
sets for the mini splits
That's
that are gonna.
Oh, yes.
serve the head unit.
Condensers
I'm sorry, I
going
thought you
up
were
the
talking about
side.
the
They typically
landscaping.
go into plastic line height,
Well,
those come up often.
And they are going to be coming into the building department, the heating people as well.
Yeah,
And going over all of that. They're gonna draw a diagram of where everything's gonna be for me.
okay,
We just really wanted to find out about the condensers and go over that with the homeowner, make sure that's what they want
okay,
before we take it a few steps further.
okay.
And that's really it for the outside. So I kind of know what we gotta do. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. All
It's
right,
interesting meeting for all.
never a dull moment.
We always have fun.
No, no. All right, so we got Helen, who's on the line.
Hi, I'm on with my husband Crosby. We have an 1855 house on the corner of High Street and Cliff Street. Two of the windows in the upper level are deteriorated to the point.
Better off.
Uh-oh.
What was?
324 High Street.
Sorry, I think I hit the wrong button.
Yeah. I think she got it.
Thanks.
You want to try again?
All right.
Here she is.
Okay,
There you
so going back, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna let my husband talk.
He gets too involved in for the pre-meeting here. The
I'm
house,
sorry, what, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
my first name is Crosby.
Crosby. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
last name Sherman. Our house is at 324 High Street. It's the corner of Cliff Street and High.
I already said that.
And we're looking to replace at least a couple windows at this point because they're leaking severely and rot and so we're looking to replace, I guess, get permission to replace all of them at this point so that we can continue with the process in the future. We plan on, we're looking at two different models right now and a couple different, two different contractors as well. We're looking at the Anderson 400s and a Paradigm 8300. The Paradigm, I understand, is a vinyl replacement window. And I guess you guys are familiar with the Andersons. I heard you talking about them earlier. We do.
I said, you said the V word, which is like a bad word, my language. But
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna bring it up, but my contractor pointed out that our neighbor in the red house has vinyl. And they're historic.
Yeah, a lot of windows are vinyl clad,
Yeah.
like even the Anderson 400 series that I've been told that we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
But they're trying to make them not shiny. So some people do a nicer job of making it a not in your face
looking.
vinyl look. It's the vinyl, so the vinyl can be, because we've approved a bunch of 400 series that are, they call them vinyl clad in the spec. And the distinction is we're looking for not to look like vinyl. Even if
Exactly.
it's vinyl,
Well,
not to look shiny.
Yeah, I get you.
We're with you on that, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, these windows are all original from 1855, and
They're bad.
there's plenty of these. And now these two have started to rot, so that's why we're looking into doing this.
They're not energy efficient for sure.
The intent is to replace them with the same, obviously the same size, same 6/6
Style.
divided light style. I'm guessing, I think one of them we looked at was a natural divided light. The other one is probably going to be
It's called a simulated divided light.
Yeah.
That's what we like.
Yes.
If you want to hear our opinion, we like simulated.
Right. The vinyl is simulated. I'm asking
Okay.
him if it's shiny. The vinyl are on Berkshire Hathaway, which used to be Pequot Properties Real Estate Office on the Stonington side. If you want to look at what.
We have no jurisdiction over
No,
that.
I know, that's the make and of the window.
you wanna see 'em-
They installed those windows on that.
If you
in
want to
that building.
see them on a building, I'm just saying they're in that building.
What's that address?
It's
It's
at
right,
the
right
light.
across, right near the
When you come
car
down
factory,
to 27.
right near the Denison graveyard across in Mystic. That intersection where Angie's Pizza is.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You should-
So,
I believe it's
But-
separate windows. No.
All right, so.
and
you-
he.
You're
put
gonna
a-
replace the windows, this is a pre-app, so you're looking for information, our opinion on replacing all the windows.
Right,
And we talked about simulated divided light, we talked about Anderson 400s as our preference, but, that's just
More
that
equal.
aspect. What's the next aspect?
well, we have previously did half our house in hardy plank and ASIC trim, which was approved. We let that lapse, we'd probably want to
We want to revisit that.
that at the same time, just to have it done with. And obviously the windows will be trimmed out with ASIC.
No issue,
That's
Yep.
no issue on that.
Yep, sounds good.
I think on the windows issue with historical windows, it's dimension of the mullions. and
Okay.
Whether they can really get to that, right, that historic dimension that and that's the thing that really is, and that's tough to do in vinyl. I experience.
Well, I think the Andersons are 3/4 and the other are 5/8.
So take a look at that, because that's a character change.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
That's why the old days, Marvin was the only historic window in the game, and other people are into it now, but vinyl is, the other issue with vinyl is that it moves with temperature, and it often has issues over time.
Sure, it doesn't last as long, right?
It moves, so if you've got a cock joint, it's gonna break the cock joint.
Okay.
Right.
So the mullions or whatever are a biggie, right?
Well, if we keep 6, what is it, 6/6?
But it's the width of them.
Oh, okay. But you've had Anderson 400s before, right? You just have to make
Yes.
sure it's matching what's in the house now? Or our neighbors, or what?
No, we just said Andersons are very good windows and have been approved in the past.
Okay.
Do they have different styles of the divided lights? Like the 400s, or is there only one divided light it would come with, or? Do we know?
Our preference has always been simulated divided light.
Versus what?
Well, there's,
Grills between
the glass.
glass, or you can get like snap-on.
Right.
Grills that go on the outside and inside.
and there's the new one I learned 2 meetings ago,
No.
old fashioned divided light or something like that.
Well, there's true divided light, which we would.
True
approve.
divided
light,
What
right.
is that? 'Cause that's
Yeah.
way more
Where you show
expensive.
little individual panes.
But there was another one.
Few people do that.
No, there's
Okay.
there's an economic issue here. We can't go real fancy.
Okay.
And did you say something about your roof earlier?
Nope.
No,
No.
we probably need a new one in a couple years, but I'm assuming you can just replace it.
How about adding parking off of my High Street side?
Zoning.
Ooh.
Zoning.
We just want to know what the parking is gonna be made up of. We don't.
I think he was joking.
I think he was.
Oh,
joking.
Yeah, he was making a joke there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was, but I'm semi-serious because we're hoping to move back into this house sooner or later, and I'm gonna want to park up off High Street if I can, and all our parking is down around the corner on Cliff Street at this point.
Completely unrelated to your application, this house has been a rental since the 80s, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, my closest childhood friend in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade lived there, so I spent a lot of hours in that house.
Yes.
Yeah.
We tried to sell it and then the market tanked and then it became investment property,
Yeah,
but
we bought it in 1983, and
Yeah, so it would have been 86, 87, 88. I spent a lot of time in that house, so good memories of your house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we owned it
Yeah, needs some sprucing up again.
Yeah, that was our first house. It might be the last too.
We've been busy,
We may move back.
we've been busy taking out ash trees.
Yeah, too
All
many.
right, any other questions about siding or windows or?
Yeah, I mean, right now we have a painted siding color, but I don't know if it's discontinued or not. But I know you can paint vinyl, I mean, hardy to any color you want.
We'll just
We
keep it.
don't jurisdict color, so whatever makes your heart happy on that one.
I'm sure you don't like purple.
Go look on Pearl
And
Street.
Bill's.
Isn't it Pearl Street? Right?
I'll walk by.
Or aqua.
Okay. I think we're good.
So what's the next step?
Whatever,
So
right?
you put together were you watching some of the presentations tonight at all? Okay. You put together a presentation, have a GIS map, have a map of the windows that you're replacing, have samples and if possible, samples of your siding, but not necessary, but just all the materials very detailed, laid out.
Spec sheet.
And this, what the spec sheets of the windows, what the windows are made of, what the trim's made of. So the more detail, the better. We've never rejected an application because it had too much detail.
Okay,
And if you want to be on the next regular meeting agenda to have your public hearing, everything has to be in by Thursday of this week.
that's what I understand. And you need photographs?
Yeah,
Be helpful.
that's super helpful. Especially if you're gonna circle the windows that you're replacing. So we're aware.
How
Yeah.
To
deep,
be clear, Bill's a stickler for that. Circle the windows you're replacing.
I am a stickler for that.
how detailed do we need to be for this Thursday package?
But
100%?
Get ready to come sit before us on Thursday.
Woo-hoo.
do we have to be present?
Nope.
Not
Okay.
necessarily, no.
Not necessarily, but it's in your best interest in case any
It-
questions arise.
Okay. All righty. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So that is all the apps that were listed. So now we're on to, I'm gonna close the pre-application review and go to public communications.
These folks are,
Any public communications
I-
or old business?
okay.
No.
Yeah, I already think they know. Oh. How do I get her? Right there.
Oh, is there another person?
No, it's her. I'm just, and there is another person.
Oh,
She was the one that asked to be added. I'm just trying to, where's, I need to
Okay.
read this. I just, so
Sit down here, remove.
remove, there it is. And it was,
Crosby.
Oh, that's her
That's
husband.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Crosby,
that's-
Crosby and Helen are the same person.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
so,
so we're good.
so you're good.
Okay, so any public communications?
I have none.
You have none. Okay, public communications is closed. Approval of the minutes. All right, anyone comments on the minutes? Make a motion to,
Wait,
approve-
hang on, there was one typo I noticed. Let me find it when I looked at it earlier. Yeah, it says good been discussed, the recent, should be recent, not recent. RECENT,
okay,
RECENT.
okay. All right, so can we, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the recent change to recent change. Any other discussion on it? All right, vote.
I wasn't here, so I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't here.
Ernst, I.
Ferguson, I.
Keatsman, I.
Kohler, aye.
All right, so the approval of the minutes have passed, so now we'll go to old business.
You've been here a long time.
Patience.
You come on forward, and if you both want to come forward, just bring a second chair, please.
No,
state your name and address and why you're here.
We're Jean Fairbairn, Jeffrey Fairbairn. We're at 2590 Gold Star Highway in Mystic, Connecticut. We are here with regard to the property on 1 Noank Road.
To add contact information.
Sorry. God, she's crazy.
She's listening to you.
Anyway, so we're here with regard to 1 Noank Road. We were here previously to approve the sign. And then we had that little piece under here. I'll do this. Want to do that. And we were understandably, Airbnb was just completely a hot topic, understood. So we decided to come back to see what we could call that. Actually, at the last meeting, we were trying to, someone on the board suggested bed and breakfast, but we're technically not at all a bed and breakfast, so we can't really call ourselves that. Well, it didn't occur to me till I was in the shower the next day, lodging, which is what we are. The reason that it's semi-important to me, not that it's the end of the world, is that I don't want to be confused with the restaurant, so people don't go knocking at the door and saying, can we have reservations for Saturday at 12? You know. So we're proposing the exact same signage, the exact same materials. Cam Boards is making it. He actually suggested he just go ahead and make it. I'm like, no, let's just make sure that we get approval. But lodging is a term that it connotates, you know, people are staying there. It's actually from the 14th century. My husband looked it up, meaning temporary place to stay. And it's historic.
Flophouse.
I don't know, I think Flophouse, that's a new adaptation, but lodging in the ye old 1400s. That was when my kids were teenagers.
I got a question though. I mean, using the word, we'll say it's an Airbnb, let's use that word. There's nobody on site to think. So let's say I'm in Mystic, it says lodging. If I knock on the door, there's nobody there to be like, hi, do you want to? It's an online way to book it, correct?
Yes, we're Airbnb.
That was our first argument. However, we realize Airbnb is a real hot topic around here. I've been here for 14 years. I've seen it happen. So lodging, I mean, you know, just do a little detective work. Get your phone out, the Wallacey that pops up right away on Airbnb and VRBO. So you really don't need it to say Airbnb, you know.
So this is completely, consider me as your neighbor up the street. And I do some of the marketing for where I work. Why not just the Wallacey for more information, whatever it is, www.wallacey.com or hit this
Well, I mean,
QR
that's a
code
lot
or.
for right down here. I mean, we're just talking about a sign.
I know, I'm just,
I mean,
again, I'm just
our
thinking out loud. If it
parks
said
have a-
lodging and I was in town, I'd be like, oh, you got a vacancy?
Right.
That's the way I think, whether that's the way these guys, I'm just, like I said, this is not as a HDC guy, just
Well,
as.
no one's gonna answer the door. Okay, so then the next thing is get on your phone and do the Wallacey and it pops up right away.
This is all about whether it's historically appropriate. And lodging, to my way of thinking, is historically appropriate. If you go to the Tabor Inn, it says lodging. It's lodging. This I completely understand, especially after this meeting, understanding what a hot topic it is and for why. And I have an understanding and the sympathy and an understanding as to why people might feel that way. So not to ruffle any feathers as a good neighbor, just lodging. If we don't, is it historically appropriate is the question.
I like it. I could, can I talk?
So I think they are requesting that you do a minor modification under old business. Which
Oh,
your
okay.
guidelines allow.
I think lodging kind of clarifies.
You would have to,
I'm sorry.
you can have a discussion, but you would have to, you know,
Yeah,
have a consensus to take a vote on the modification.
right.
So from a history point of view, because I don't think you were here, were you?
I wasn't, but I'm just gonna go very 10,000 foot view on this. I remember that house our whole life looking like garbage with that green asphalt siding on it. And I think what these folks have done with the building has been a huge improvement.
Yeah, no,
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's completely amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Hang
going
on,
there.
as far as signs go, I mean, at the end, they are any of the signs in town historic. We might, nod toward them on certain like carved ones, but all the signs are relatively modern.
And these are carved.
So I have no problem with their sign. this is just me talking as John here, you know, lodging. I have no problem with, again, I'm trying to pretend I'm a tourist in town. If I saw lodging, I would knock on the door, and that, my advice is just totally the person's got nothing to do with my position here. So I've got no problem with that. I don't know how you guys feel.
Good.
I
I'm
wouldn't-
glad. Just. When you were here 2 weeks ago, we approved everything and I talked too much at that meeting because I said I was uncomfortable with the Airbnb sign. And so I needed more time to process, and I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks. And I've been trying to come up with a good reason to not do it. That's in the historic lane, and it's hard for me to really come up with one other than it's kind of a modern establishment. But I think this is a commercial place, and it's hard. I don't really
still
like the
like
Airbnb
lodging
part,
better.
but I'm trying to thank you because I like lodging so much better than Airbnb.
I mean, it just
So-
avoids people getting their feathers ruffled,
Right.
and as a community, we just have to like embrace each other and make peace with one another, so that's why I think.
So I like it so much, I'm willing to.
There was
I
a
could be
pretty
talking through the
extensive
procedure.
conversation at the end of the meeting that night.
Yes.
And I think one of the highlights that was considered was that Airbnb was a brand.
Correct.
And they wanted to, it seemed the board wanted to stay away from any kind of branding or any type of corporate branding type things. And I think that's why other considerations ensued, such as lodging or inn or bed and breakfast.
Plus,
And I think that was
also-
kind of the
yeah.
highlight of
100%.
where the conversation went with it.
Right.
Just to give
No,
my
and
opinion on that.
that's what I was gonna bring up
Yeah.
from it. When I started to say from a history point of view, I wasn't talking about history of the house, I was talking about the history of our meeting last time, and we had a very lengthy discussion, and the sign, I think from 80% down on your sign, it was approval, it was just that last 20% that caused-
I don't
caused-
disagree,
caused
and
the
it wasn't
discussion.
until the next day I went.
Yeah, and so again,
So
I
what's the procedure?
for the
for-
procedures, we're gonna reopen.
Oh, you just make, you make a motion to amend the original approval.
Okay.
I make a motion to amend the original approval to allow them to hang a sign below their Walmsley sign. All the technical details are in the original, and it's a read lodging.
Goodrich, second.
Okay, so any discussion from
The
anyone?
only thing is I thought about it at 4:30 in the morning. And the thing I think the precedent was an issue we had last time we were talking about. And I think the fact it's in a commercial kind of district that kind of, I feel like if it was in a more residential area, I'd have more problem with it, having a sign at all. But I think
Agreed.
lodging, I think is an improvement. But I literally woke up at 4:30 and go, "Wait, what do we do with this?" And then I realized where it was,
Right.
which is right down the bottom of the hill. So I think it is a very commercial area, and I think lodging, and without it, it kind of goes, what is this thing?
That's exactly right.
So it kind
And
of
to be clear, we
Is it a
probably
bar?
would never have created an Airbnb in any other type of area other than this one. So I'm very clearly on the fence
So,
as far as what's appropriate.
And you know, the nice thing about having an historic commission, I've been a builder for over 50 years and I've been before many historic commissions in Litchfield County and New England County. Is that, yes, it's commercial, but you guys keep it from looking commercial. And that's the whole key to making something look beautiful, so you don't have strip malls and all of that stuff, so I get the Airbnb.
and I saw the little things that could hang the sign, which are there.
Well, because
Ready-
Pam already
ready
made
for
one ahead of me, and I'm like, "Oh, I mean,
Those things are.
You're ready?
Thank you,
I'll
yeah.
be very transparent. I was the one who really had a hard time with the Airbnb, and I was the bad guy last meeting, but I love lodging
you.
is so much.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it either, to be honest with you, but I just wanted something to explain who we
No,
were.
And I get that, but I just was having the brand. It was as if you were putting Uber on the side of your car.
Right, and
as
also
opposed
we
to-
just,
Yeah.
we're also
Right.
VRBO, so
Makes
that's
sense.
not
Right.
fair either, so, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm trying to put this project to bed because I'm already on another one.
So.
Sometimes when you step back for a couple of days,
Yeah.
the answer becomes apparent.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't until the next day that I thought,
Yes, yeah.
you know.
So, if it's okay with the commission, I'd like to close discussion and take a vote. The motion on the floor is to approve or to
Administratively.
amend the approval of the previous application decision to add lodging on the bottom of the Wallasey sign. Yes. All right, vote.
Goodrich, aye.
Ernst, aye.
Ferguson, aye.
Keatsman, aye.
Kohler, aye.
Thank you very
Thank you so much. We
See, it was worth the wait.
It was, it was.
It was interesting, actually.
Oh, long way.
You picked a good one.
I like the brackets on the thing, and I'm a frustrated engineer, and I've already designed the brackets to hold that up.
So I was thinking.
You know how to contact them, their information's on there.
Needs a little redesign.
Thank you guys for your patience, but we.
Yeah,
hope
thanks, you guys.
understand we had to listen to everybody's
Of course.
process.
And when you're up there, it's all about you, so we all need our turn.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening. That one is a pre-app, I think.
Is it?
And we're all set.
Oh,
No,
no,
but that's
Yeah,
what
that's
these,
free app.
that's a pre-app.
Okay, keep it.
Okay, so that's old business.
Under old business, if I just want to
Oh.
give you one report. The only thing I have to update is the No Ink Road, I forget what the number is. It's the one right down the bottom of
Right.
to Ashby, then you're looking down at the
The windows
structure
and
with the
siding.
black roof and whatever.
Oh,
Um,
the lean-to.
The lean-to.
That's your.
So a notice of violation was sent. The owner actually came in and asked what his options are for keeping it. I told him you can apply. You're likely to have a very uphill battle in both zoning because it's got setback issues as well as historic district commission. It wouldn't be looked at very favorably based on what it is and its appearance. And he said, all right, I'll take it down. So I said, how long? He said, give me 30 days. I said, okay.
All right.
So,
I was just gonna say, did he give you a time frame?
yeah, I gave him 30 days. He said he'd have it down in 30 days.
Okay.
Just, that's the only update I got for you at the moment.
and you may have addressed this last week, I was in here, I apologize. The house with the windows and the siding, is that still?
So I addressed that a couple meetings ago. I asked you guys to just give me some time on
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
The applicant is in Florida. I've established communications with him. He has some apprehensions about coming in front of the commission based on his couple of times that he was here. And I'm trying to kind of establish some strategies to get him here. So I asked that you just give me a little more time on it.
Perfect.
All right.
I mean, he wasn't here, but we know you're working on it.
Yeah, it's
so.
ultimately, my goal is to try to get him to come with a full presentation. That might not be 100% what you guys are expecting. But it would truly be an improvement to the property and may work for both sides. So that's my goal and that's what I'm working towards on it. And I've talked with Eric a little bit about it and some further details too. So he's.
You're working on it, that's all I need to know.
Okay.
Thanks.
It's still in motion. Right. They're the guys in Florida, so there really wouldn't be any kind of a substantial application until he was back here later in April anyway. So I told him I'd follow up with him in a couple of weeks and continue our conversation. Oh yeah, I'm working on it.
All right, thank you.
Good.
Good. Any new business from the group?
I have a lot of sympathy for the neighbors
Mm.
on Ashby. Like just walking around in the summer, Pearl Street, High Street, Ashby, they're like almost single lane
Yeah.
roads. Like
Yeah.
I get it. Like, but that's planning and zoning,
Right.
right?
No, and
Yeah.
that's, believe me, I think all of us feel that for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not just that street, but
Yeah.
the whole neighborhood.
Yep.
But we can only jurisdict what we
Yeah.
can jurisdict.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I kept trying to say pea stone, gravel and rock.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I
Right.
just.
Right, you don't want to-
No, and I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I felt bad listening to.
But we
these-
also don't want to minimize, all
Oh,
these
right,
people
no,
that came
that
in.
came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and
Time out of
that's
the
why,
way.
I was for
you know, if we continued it a week, I was totally for it because we're listening to the neighbors and what they're doing. Plus, we get to see, you know, what the wall would look like.
Right.
So, but at the end of the day, I was totally fine with the piece still on the ground and the brick.
You hit it on the head, and that happens way too often. I've noticed since I moved back here is people minimize the residents.
Yeah.
And it gets there, but dander up. So I think
But
letting
we-
people
we
talk,
need-
letting people say, and giving them time, you know, a week's not killing anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
It sometimes makes somebody feel important and
I-
it buys you a lot.
But I didn't,
But I think the ball's in the zoning department.
right.
Court.
I just wanted to look at it like,
Yeah,
it's my
I
fault
think-
for not looking at it before the
And I
meeting.
hope
The
they,
crux of the conversation or comments
Where's-
weren't really pertaining to the features that she was proposing. It was
None.
how everything was functioning in that immediate zone.
Right.
Or in that
Mm.
immediate
And that's
area,
what I kept
which
trying to
is a
say to
planning and
these
zoning
people.
thing.
Right, that's what I kept trying to say, like, this. So,
Yeah.
I think we all did a very nice job. tonight.
Again, for
That
me,
was-
I want to see the mass of the thing. So the thing would look like a sound deadening wall on the side of a highway. I'm being silly to make a point for mass that I want to fall thing. That was my thing. I just want to see the mass of it when it's done, and that wasn't drawn out for me.
There's one a little bit further down, it's just concrete. A little further up.
No, as,
I move to adjourn.
No, I'm not done talking yet.
all right, well,
Hey,